Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today it's another Patreon request from Mistress Vicious. Now about a month ago I for the first time looked at a band called The Warning, and this proved to be a hell of a video to look at, because I mean the actual performance of the song was brilliant. It was a very, very impressive band. You know, it's three young women. I don't think any of them are over 25. I think they're all under 25, if I remember correctly. You know, they're all fairly young women, very impressive musicians. Very, very impressive musicians. And I really, really liked the track I looked at. I looked at a track called 6 Feet Deep. And that video exploded. You know, it's insane how popular that... In fact, to date, I've been doing this for 6 years. I've got over 800 and odd videos on my channel, and to date, I think that is the most popular video on my channel. It literally just exploded. You know, people went absolutely crazy for it, and I got inundated with people saying, you should look at this track, you should look at this track, yada yada. You know, they were just laying it on thick, you know, look at this, look at this, look at this. But one thing that overwhelmingly came out was the fact that their strength apparently lies in their live performances. This got mentioned a lot. And a track that came up mentioned quite a lot was a track called Hell You Call a Dream, specifically live at the Pepsi Centre, I think it was. You know, it was Hell You Call a Dream live, and I'm pretty sure it was at the Pepsi Centre. You know, this got mentioned a lot. And when Mistress Vicious actually sent me her suggestions to look at, she sent me the track 6 Feet Deep and Hell You Call a Dream live. So, you know, I said, you know, that track is coming up. I will be looking at the track. Don't worry, it is coming. So that is, excuse me, what I'm looking at today. Hell You Call a Dream live at the Pepsi Centre. So, you know, like I said, I was very impressed by the band when I first heard them. I thought, you know, very, very talented musicians, very, very talented vocalists. They are a very impressive band. And like I said, the video I put out for 6 Feet Deep literally exploded, and at one point I got quite concerned because I was inundated with messages or replies and comments on the video saying, "You have been warned." And I was like, shit, what have I done? Have I upset people? I thought I said nothing but nice things about the band. What have I done? And it slowly occurred to me that, you know, with the band being called The Warning, and I have now listened to and been bought into the envelope of who The Warning are, and I am now like a fan of their music and now listening to their music, I have been warned, as it were. But, you know, to start with, I was getting dozens of messages from people saying, you have been warned, and I was like, holy shit, what have I done? Have I upset people somehow with my comments on this song? But overwhelmingly it was positive. You know, I got a lot of positive comments on that video. You know, a lot of suggestions, like I said, and I will be making note of the suggestions that I was given, because, you know, like I said, they are an impressive band. And like I said, overwhelmingly I got told to look at, or got asked, should I say, not told, I got asked to look at Hell You Call a Dream, specifically live. So that is what I will be looking at today, and I'm quite looking forward to it, because like I said, I enjoyed 6 Feet Deep. It was an impressive song, and the reason I looked at that song first, because like I said, when Mistress Vicious suggested tracks, she gave me Hell You Call a Dream and 6 Feet Deep as suggestions to look at, and I went for 6 Feet Deep first because that was the most recent track. I wanted an idea of who the band were. So now I'm going to be looking at Hell You Call a Dream, which I believe it might be an older song. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see. But yeah, let's jump into this track and see what we have. But before we do that, if you could just take a moment to like and subscribe if you haven't already, it would really, really help me out. You know, I've been doing this for about 6 years now, like I say, and not even 3% of people that are watching my videos are actually subscribed, which is a little bit disheartening, because, you know, I do put a lot of time and effort into these videos. You know, I do a lot of research and, you know, this and the other. So, you know, if you could like and subscribe, it would really, really help me out. It takes a fraction of a second. It doesn't cost you a penny, but it does make the bigger difference to me and the channel. But anyway, with that being said, let's jump into the track and see what we've got. So, Hell You Call a Dream live at the Pepsi Centre by The Warning. Let's have a look.
to water right from the start. Rope is wearing thin, can't take it anymore. And that's how you call a dream. Colliding every time. That chaos drives me wild like an animal. Just wanna breathe. Maybe I wanna become what I feel. How you call a dream? Colliding every time. Like an animal. And it's how you call a dream.
Well, what can I really say about that? That I don't think any words can do that justice. That was really impressive. I mean, the performance live. I mean, that the lead vocalist, the last singing, has got such a powerful voice. And I will say, and this is quite I believe this is quite a compliment, that she reminded me of Ann Wilson from Heart, the band Heart. And I absolutely love Heart. They are a fantastic band. I've loved them for decades. And I think Ann Wilson has a damn impressive voice. And specifically the way that the young lass here, I cannot for the life of me remember what her name is. I'm going to look it up because I feel like I should. The warning. Let's have a look. I can't remember which one's the singer now. Daniela. She has a hell of an impressive voice. You know, it's very, very powerful, very strong. As soon as she goes into that chorus where she says, "Give me something to believe in this hell you call a dream," it reminds me so much of Heart. It sounded so much like them. It was really, really impressive. And I really like it. I mean, everybody said live is where their strength lies. And I can see why. Because when I check out videos here, I very rarely go for live performances. Specifically for the reason that a lot of bands, in my personal opinion, don't sound as good live. You know, because you hear like an album and you get a certain idea of what a band sounds like. And then you hear them live and you sort of go, oh. You know, some bands know, but there's been more than one occasion where I've heard a band and then I've seen them live and I've been like, well, this doesn't sound nearly as good. And then there's sort of elements that you will hear on a CD that you won't hear live. But that cannot be said about this band. They are damn impressive. I mean, the music was crisp, it was clear, you could hear everything. You know, the guitar sounded really chunky, it was really heavy, you could hear the bass, and I've said this on thousands of occasions, more often than not in music, as you know, even on like studio albums, the bass tends to get lost in the background somewhere and you don't hear it as much. And you know, I like to be able to actually hear and appreciate the bass guitar, you know, and you know, you could really hear it here. You could really hear the mix of all the three instruments. And, you know, the vocal performances, you know, like I said, Daniela, I believe that's who was the main singer, you know, an impressively powerful voice. But again, the other two girls also adding vocals, you know, and singing whilst drumming is very, very hard. I mean, drumming on its own is a difficult task to... Be quiet, I'm talking. You know, singing whilst drumming is a difficult task because, like, both hands and both feet are doing completely different things. And then you've got to think of singing on top of that. It's very complex, you know. So huge props to these girls. They are incredibly talented musicians. I cannot say that enough. And I can see why everybody told me to check out their live performances, because this was damn impressive. And, believe me, I will be looking at more of their music. I'm sure I'll probably get inundated with yet more live performances that I need to look at on this video. And, I do welcome that. Just be aware, I might not be able to get around to all of them, and it might take me a while to get round to them. I'm not necessarily going to, bang out 6 or 7 warning videos, in a row, because, I have suggestions from other people to look at as well. But, yeah, a damn impressive performance. Like I said, sometimes in live performances something gets lost, but this was very, very impressive. I see why everybody wanted me to look at them live, and I cannot get over the amount of power in that voice. And like I said, it just reminds me so much of Ann Wilson from Heart, and for me, I think that is a huge compliment, because I love Heart, and I always thought Ann Wilson had an impressive voice. Anyway, the actual song itself, I'm not sure, because it sounds like they're trapped in a relationship of some sort. I made a mistake in the previous video by thinking that 6 Feet Deep was talking about a toxic relationship with an ex-boyfriend or something like that, but I was actually told several times over that it was more to do with the people that were saying that they weren't able to make it to where they are now. It was all the naysayers saying you're just a band of 3 little girls pretending to play music, and all the people that are trying to put them down and keep them in their place, and they were like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong. And now they are a incredibly popular band. Especially if my last video is anything to, my last video on the band is anything to go by. They're a hugely popular band. So that I made the mistake of thinking that the last video, it could be applied in that sense, but I was told it was mostly about the people saying that they couldn't make it as a band. They weren't good enough, and they were just 3 silly little girls playing music, and they were like, we're going to prove you wrong, we're going to bury 6 Feet Deep, yada yada yada. So I made the mistake of assuming it was about a relationship there, but again, the same could be in a way it could be applied to this as well. It sounds like being trapped in someone else's fantasy sort of thing, someone else thinking this is the way things are going and it's wonderful and lovely, and they're sort of sitting in the middle going, well, it's not. I'm stuck in this hell you call a dream. You think things are going lovely, but for me it's hell. They're stuck in a less than ideal situation, to break it into a very basic sentence. So it goes, I've been invaded by the need to stay inside this cage. Day after day I'm hurting, but I choose to stay this way. So, I feel I'm being invaded by the need to stay inside this cage. Day after day I'm hurting, but I choose to stay this way. So, they're trapped in a cage, metaphorical, I'm assuming. They're choosing to stay there. So, it sounds like they're choosing to stay in a less than ideal situation, whether it is a relationship or not. They're choosing to stay there for the love of the person or of someone else that's there. Day after day I'm hurting. This is actually hurting me. It's upsetting me. It's making me miserable. But I'm choosing to stay this way. Again, it's... I spoke recently about toxic relationships, and it's something you can't explain to someone. Something... It's almost ineffable, because unless you've been in that situation, you can't quite understand how it affects the way you think. And the same can almost be applied here. Because you might be in a toxic situation, and it's a bad situation to be in. But there is still something in your brain that sort of overrides everything and makes you feel the need to stay with that person, despite how horrible they're being to you, how miserable they're being to you, they're making you. And that's kind of what they're saying here. It's like, I'm in a miserable situation. I'm hating it. I'm hurting. It's making me feel terrible. But I'm choosing to stay this way because there is an overwhelming need within my mind to stay with this person, no matter how badly they're treating me. You know, it's a situation. It's hard to explain, but this seems to be what they're saying here as well. Running out of things to say. Is it normal to love how we hate? Is draining me out just the same? I'm in too deep. Again, this is like I was saying about toxic relationship. You know, running out of things to say. Is it normal to love how we hate? So running out of things to say. This could be an allusion to the rationalising of the treatment. You know, like when you're in a bad relationship, a toxic relationship, you know in your heart of hearts, you know that you're in a very bad situation, but something in your brain tries to rationalize it. You know, this person is treating me this terrible way, so you keep coming up with excuses and reasons why they're doing it, trying to make sense of it, trying to understand why this person who you love and who at one point did love you has started treating you so badly. So you start coming up with reasons and excuses, and there's that lie. Isn't it normal to love how we hate? You know, it's not normal to feel love for someone that is treating you so badly. It's a weird paradoxical thing, and you know, it's draining me out just the same. I'm in too deep. So, you know, it's draining me, it's making me miserable, but I'm in too deep. I don't know how to escape from this. And again, this is something that I said before with toxic relationships. You know, like, you know you're in a bad place. You know that you should leave, but there's just something that keeps clawing you back. And it's something you can't explain. It's something you can't describe to anybody. There are no words to explain it to people. Unless you've been in that situation, you would not understand. It's a very, very fucked up state of mind. And, you know, I'm in too deep. You know, I don't know how to get out of this quagmire. And then it goes into that chorus, and like I said, that really powerful voice coming through. Give me something to believe in this hell you call a dream, colliding every time. The chaos that drives me wild like an animal. I just want to breathe in this hell you call a dream. So, to you, you know, to this person, you know, they think this is an ideal situation. They think they're living the great life. You know, this person who is treating them badly thinks that they're in a wonderful situation. They think this is exactly how life should be. I have this person by my side who I can control however I want to. You know, I can treat them however I want, and they'll still stay with me. This is wonderful. This is perfect. But the person within that is like, this is hell for me. You think we're living the high life. You think we're living the perfect peachy little existence, but I am hating every second of this. You're making me miserable. So give me something to believe. You know, give me something to make me believe in this relationship, in this, you know, in this dream that you've fabricated. You know, you think this is a perfect existence. Give me something to believe in. Give me some reason to think the same way that you do. You know, the chaos drives me wild like an animal. So, you know, everything that you're doing, all this chaos, all this cruelty that you're throwing my way, it's driving me mad like an animal. You know, I just want to breathe, you know, because I feel so constricted. I feel restricted. You know, I can't do anything because I'm in this horrible cage, as, you know, it was suggested in the first lines. You know, they feel suffocated by it. My vision's blurry as pain keeps crawling up my skin. The pressure's building and I'm on the verge of caving in. Ready or not for the kill. If you can't bring me to life, then what will? Suffering just for the thrill. I'm in too deep. So my vision's blurry as the pain keeps crawling up my skin. So, you know, they're on the verge. You know, again, this sounds like part of the I just want to breathe thing. You know, they're sort of suffocating. Vision's blurry. The pain keeps crawling up my skin. So, you know, they feel restricted, you know, like they're suffocating, you know, vision's blurry, you know, they can't make sense of anything, basically, you know, and the pain keeps crawling out much again, the pressure's building, and I'm on the verge of caving in. So all of the, not necessarily, I mean, it's not necessarily an abusive situation, but for the sake of argument and explanation, you know, the pressure's building and I'm on the verge of caving in. So all this, let's say, abuse is sort of getting on top of them, and they are on the point of breaking. You know, any minute now they're either gonna explode in a wild rage like a wild animal, as was alluded to in an earlier line, or they're just gonna completely break down, have a nervous breakdown, be sitting in the corner dribbling, going sort of thing. You know, they're on the verge of losing the plot, basically. Ready or not for the kill. If this can't bring me to life, then what will? So I'm not sure if that's from her perspective. You know, she's ready to sort of pounce and take out this person, whether literally or just metaphorically, you know, to excise that person from their life. I might be what that line suggests, you know, whether I'm ready or not. You know, if getting rid of this person can't bring me back to life, then I don't know what will. You know, if getting rid of this person who is causing so much toxicity in my life, if getting rid of them isn't going to sort of reinvigorate me and give me back my life, essentially, you know, set me free from this prison, this cage, this suffocating sarcophagus, as it were, you know, if getting rid of them won't reinvigorate me, then I don't know what will. You know, getting rid of them, I might still end up this broken wretch that they've made me. I don't know. Then give me something to believe in this hell you call a dream, colliding every time. That chaos drives me wild like an animal, just want to breathe in this hell you call a dream. Eyes are always open in the dark. I've been underwater right from the start. Hope is wearing thin. I can't take it anymore. So, eyes are always open in the dark. So, you know, I've always been able, you know, I can see all this darkness. I can see everything that's happening. I've been underwater right from the start, so I've been struggling, I've been drowning right from the very beginning of whatever this is. You know, you've been domineering, dominating, controlling, you know, I've been under your thumb right from the start. Hope is wearing thin, I can't take it anymore. You know, this has been going on for way too long, I can't deal with this anymore. You know, I'm starting to lose hope that I will ever get back to some sense of normalcy. And then it goes back into, give me something to believe in this hell you call a dream, colliding every time, the chaos that drives me wild like an animal, just want to breathe. Maybe I don't want to be in this hell you call a dream, colliding every time, that chaos drives me wild like an animal, just want to breathe in this hell you call a dream. So she's saying that I don't want to be in this hell you call a dream anymore. I want out. I want to escape. You know, I've had enough. I'm fed up. You know, I can't breathe. I'm broken mentally and physically. You know, I need to get out. You know, I've had enough. I'm moving on. So, you know, like I said, it sounds like someone trapped in a toxic relationship, and you know, at the start they're like, I'm resigned to staying here. You know, it's safe, it's comfortable. You know, even though I'm being abused. You know, I'm being taken advantage of. You know, this is what I know. This is where I'm safe. This is where I'm comfortable. But right at the end, they're like, right, I've had enough. I need to get out. So, you know, there's a progression through it. You know, you can see throughout the track, you know, gradually sort of breaking down. Things are getting worse. Things are getting harder. You know, vision blurry, can't catch their breath. You know, it's debilitating. Pressure's building. It's all getting too much. And then eventually at the end, she's like, fuck this. I want out. You know. So, like I said, it sounds, to all intents and purposes, like a toxic relationship. Whether that is a romantic relationship or it could be a relationship with, like a music agent. It could be the music industry as a whole, because, you know, the music industry paints itself as this wonderful, wonderful thing. You know, like, you can be famous, you can make music, you can travel all over the world and share your music with people, but you don't see the other side of it, where it's really quite oppressive, you know, because a lot of bands are on tour for, like, most of the year. You know, they very rarely see their home, they very rarely see their family, you know. Or it could be like these agents that are like, here's your record deal, you'll get 6 pence per time your track is played, I'm getting the rest of it. Or, you know, and things like Spotify, they're exactly the same. You know, they pay 0.06 pence each time a song is streamed to the band, and they collect everything else. You know, so it could be talking about that, because that is technically, it's an abusive relationship. You know, the music industry is quite a toxic environment to be in as well, if you don't approach it the right way. And you know, with it being 3 young girls, you know, all these sort of executives would probably have it in their mind going, oh, it's 3 young girls, we can take advantage of that. You know, we can send them off around the world globetrotting to play gigs, this, that and the other, and we'll make all the money whilst they surf, you know, whilst they exist on a pittance. You know, so that could also be what they're talking about. You know, it could be an actual romantic relationship, it could be a relationship with the music industry, or, you know, something of that ilk. I'm not entirely certain, but there is an element to a abusive or toxic relationship in there. So, you know, there is that. And, you know, really, I don't know what else I can say, because, I mean, after coming out of listening to that track, I absolutely gushed over the band. You know, they are damn impressive band. You know, the singer's got such an incredibly powerful voice. Obviously, all 3 of them were adding to the vocal performance as well, because towards the end, when Daniela, I think it was, you know, she was doing one bit, and I believe the girl on bass, whose name I can't remember, Alejandra, you know, she was doing singing whilst, or she was doing harmonies whilst Daniela was singing, but even Paulina on the drums, you know, she was singing as well. You know, so it's quite a collaboration between the 3 of them. You know, they're a very impressive band, and they've got their craft down pat. And, you know, everybody said I should check them out live, and they were right. But really, I don't know what else I can say on that, so I will leave that as it is. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like or a subscribe if you haven't already, because it really, really would help me out. You know, I've been doing this for about 6 years. At this point, I've done well over 800 videos, but not even 3% of people watching my videos are actually subscribed, and that's kind of disheartening, because, you know, I've put a lot of time and effort into doing what I do. You know, I do a lot of research into the bands, I look up the lyrics for the songs so I can discuss what the songs are about, which I believe is something that is missing from a lot of reaction videos. You know, most videos, they look at the song and go, yeah, I like it, no I didn't, and that's about all you get. You know, I like to actually talk about the songs, the meanings of the songs, you know, because these artists, they create these songs, they put meanings into their songs for a reason, and a lot of people just sort of gloss over that. People don't pay enough attention to that, and there's this misconception in heavy metal or rock music that it's all just about anger, violence, murder, mutilation, that sort of thing, and that's just not the case. You know, in the 800 plus videos I've looked at, you know, a vast majority of them have been about real world problems, you know, whether it be toxic relationships or homeless veterans, domestic abuse, you know, depression, mental health issues, this, you know, that sort of thing. You know, most of the songs I've looked at have actually talked about important real world issues, and that's something that's missing from a lot of popular music these days. You know, and I want to get rid of the misconception about heavy metal music that people seem to think it is all just anger, violence and murder, you know, which is why I talk about the songs, and that's why I like to look into who the bands are and talk about them and talk about the songs. And, you know, I thought that might be something that interested other people. I might be completely wrong, I don't know. But if you could take a moment to like and subscribe, it would really, really help me out. It takes a fraction of a second, it doesn't cost you a penny, but it makes the biggest difference to me and the channel. But anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.
Give me something to believe in this higher call dream.